Hello, I'm Pastor Ray Jones, and this is Genesis to Revelation. The book of Judges records Israel's continuation of the conquest of Canaan following the death of Joshua. They experience partial success in dispossessing the Canaanites from the land. And this sets the tone for the rest of the book. Judges 2:10 makes a damning statement about Israel's spiritual state. After Joshua's death, another generation arises who neither knows the Lord nor what he has done for them. In other words, the spiritual baton has not passed from Joshua's generation to their children's generation. Now, how could they not know the Lord, nor the things he had done for them? It would seem that the generation that crossed over the Jordan did not follow Moses' advice in Deuteronomy 6 to teach their children about the mighty works of the Lord. Thus, Judges repeatedly says that the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord. What exactly is the nature of this evil? They worship the gods of the Canaanites. And consequently, the Lord removes his hand of protection for them. He lets raiders come and plunder their harvest. And this is absolutely devastating in an agrarian economy. You work all year to plant your crops, to harvest it, to get the money that you're going to need to get you through the winter, your food supply, all the resources you're going to need to barter and all of that, and then it's gone. And so they're just devastated. And to make matters worse, the Lord lets them lose in their attempts to defend themselves against their aggressors. And so therefore, Israel is in a state of great distress. And in response, God graciously raises up judges to save them. Judges is a confusing translation choice because the word pronounced shaphat in Hebrew carries the broader meaning of to rule or to govern. The judges' leadership includes the responsibility of judging Israel. That would be the domestic politics and delivering them from foreign foes. Over the course of a few centuries, the judges rule between the time of Joshua's death and the time of King Saul. Therefore, the books of Ruth and the first half of 1 Samuel occur during this same time of the book of Judges. This is not a great time in Israel's history. They are religiously and morally compromised, and they suffer for it over and over and over again. The cycle continues. The suffering drives them to God, and they cry out for help again and again. And again in response, the Lord graciously sends them judges. The accounts of the judges themselves are recorded in chapters 3 through 16. The judges can be divided into two categories, major and minor. The major ones have larger narratives. The minor ones, you might get a sentence or two. But the major ones include the most famous, a woman in Deborah, whose rule represents the most positive one recorded in the book. The major ones would also include Gideon, Jephthah, and Samson, the most famous and complex judge of them all. With the exception of Deborah, the judges are warriors who meet their oppressors on the field of battle. Yet, reflecting their people, the judges are complicated. All of their victories, including Samson's Herculean feats of strength, are empowered by the Lord. Think Gideon and his 300 men who take on the Midianites. The accounts of Jephthah and his daughter and Samson should be read in light of the negative tone of the book. Does God endorse Jephthah's sacrifice of his daughter to keep his rash vow? Absolutely not. Does God endorse Samson's relationship with Delilah? Hardly. Talk about an abusive relationship. And yet God uses unlikely heroes to deliver his repentant people from their suffering. And looking at the final 5 chapters of the book, chapters 17 through 21, things go from bad to worse. The absence of a judge in these chapters, I think, speaks to the redeeming aspect of these judges, even the complicated ones like Samson and Jephthah. The absence of a judge in these chapters and the recurring refrain, in those days Israel had no king. Everyone did as he saw fit. This should inform how we read the violent and horrifying stories in this closing section. Without a judge or a king to lead the nation, Israel is lost and lawless. Even Moses' grandson acts as a priest for the tribe of Dan at a place where they've set up an idol for worship. Furthermore, the shockingly sexual and violent scene in Judges 19 mirrors the scene in Genesis 19 of Sodom and Gomorrah. Indeed, Sodom and Gomorrah has come to Israel. Israel is no better, nor is it more righteous than Sodom or Canaan. Israel too possesses their beliefs and their perversity. The book of Judges closes with Israel in the land. But things are not good. They need a king, a righteous one, to keep them on the straight and narrow way. Even with the coming of King David, as we will soon see, David falls short. Israel will need an even better king, and they will have to wait 1,000 more years for Jesus of Nazareth to arrive. I pray that this helps you as you navigate a shocking but compelling book of Scripture. Indeed, I think Judges has got some of the most exciting stories in all of the Old Testament. May God bless you with more understanding into His Word and the faith to apply it to your life in this coming week.